How's it going? How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Trustee Wilson.
Here.
Trustee Mary Jane Sanchez Fulton. Trustee Yant.
Present.
Trustee Stefan.
Present.
Trustee Broughton.
Present. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance, Student Trustee, would you lead us, please? We're so happy to have you here this
May the
morning.
audience please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jonathan. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.2b2, the board may take action on items of business not appearing on the posted agenda upon determination by 2/3 vote of the board, or if less than 2/3 of the members are present, a unanimous vote of those present, that there is a need to take immediate action and that the need for action came to the attention of the local agency subsequent to the agenda being posted is specified. Has there any such item come before us? Okay, thank you. The agenda stands confirmed as presented. Minutes, approval of minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the regular meeting minutes of June the 14th, 2018? Hearing none, hearing no corrections to the minutes, they stand approved as presented. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the regular meeting minutes of July the 19th, 2018? Hearing none, they stand approved as presented. Thank you, Julia. You used your very busy summer to get caught up. We appreciate you. Now is the time for comments from the public. Persons who wish to speak to the board on any item not already on the agenda may do so at this time. There is a time limit of 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic unless further time is granted by the board. Your comments will be timed and you'll be asked to stop speaking when the timer sounds. This time limit will be doubled for members of the public utilizing a translator to ensure that non-English speaker receives the same opportunity to directly address the board unless simultaneous translation equipment is used. Please understand the board welcomes your comments, but we're not able to respond. Julia, have you had any requests from public comment? Then the board will now recess to close session from 9:35, more or less, to 10:15. The board will reconvene to open session at 10:30. Just in case there's any of you that were here for the opening but won't be able to return, a local date farmer just brought in some Barhi dates. You might want to go sample one and see if you want to take a string with you. So
An unnamed local.
Kinnaman?
Yes, just briefly, I had some great news that came out. College of the Desert is one of 5 institutions nationally that's being recognized for excellencia in education. This is, again, a recognition where community colleges and universities are vying for being recognized, and so that's quite an accomplishment. I don't know, Dr. Neary, if you have anything that you'd like to share on that.
She's glowing over there.
If I may, thank you, Dr. Kinnaman. So Excelencia in Educación, based out of DC, is one of the highest national recognitions for institutions in higher education and communities serving Latino students. And to be recognized by Excelencia in Educación puts us in all the national publications and news media for institutions that serve Latinos. So we should be very proud. And thank you to all who contributed to that endeavor.
Thank you. Also, just for the board to be aware, we are implementing our ALICE training. We've got sessions scheduled with different departments, and we're excited about having that occur. Today, there's training taking place in the communication building, so if you see any activity, don't get all excited. It's just an exercise and it's training and it's not the real deal, okay? And then I think, were we going to do the proclamation at this time? Should we-
Great.
Was Arturo doing it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he needs an introduction.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Kuhneman, Executive Cabinet, and esteemed guests. It is my honor today to introduce this morning's reader of the Desert Community College's proclamation for National Hispanic Heritage Month. Reading the proclamation for us today is Arturo Delgado. He's a seasoned student leader that has served as a student trustee for our district and is currently serving as the president of the Associated Students of College of the Desert. He is working towards transferring to a four-year university and would like to major in computer information systems and minor in economics. Please help me welcome to the dais to read the the National Hispanic Heritage Month Day proclamation for your consideration.
Thank you, Carlos, for the great introduction. Madam Chair, board members, and vice presidents, thank you for this great honor to be able to read the proclamation for National Hispanic Month. And I will begin. So, whereas Americans of Hispanic heritage have sophisticated ancestry which dates back hundreds of years, exploring and settling in our country before the War of Independence. And whereas they brought with them a deep commitment to family and community, a strong work ethic, and an unwavering belief in the American dream. And whereas in a nation that derives so much strength from cultures and races, Hispanic Americans are a thriving force in our society and a vital part of our economy. And whereas we recognize that the success of our nation is closely tied to the success of our citizens of Hispanic heritage, who are a large and increasing segment of our population. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and students take this opportunity to honor Hispanics for their many valuable contributions to this great land. And be it further proclaimed that the Board of Trustees of the Desert Community College District are pleased to recognize September 15th through October 15th as the National Hispanic Heritage Month. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for all the work you do. Does that conclude your
Yes,
report?
it does, thank you.
Do we have introduction of new employees?
We sure do. It's my pleasure to introduce our outreach specialist, our new outreach specialist in EDGE, Karina Daza. Karina, come on up. Karina is a Coachella Valley native. She graduated from Indio High School. She went on to attend UC Davis, where she earned her bachelor's degree in political science. She has also received her master's in education from CSUSB Palm Desert campus, and she discovered her passion for higher education as an undergraduate and plans on channeling this passion to serve and educate her community about access to higher education. Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, stay with Next, I'd like to introduce Alejandro Torres, Director of Upward Bound. Alejandro attended UC Riverside, where he received his bachelor's degree in administrative studies with a minor in Spanish literature. He joins us from Cal Poly Pomona, where he was the lead counselor for outreach, recruitment, and educational partnerships. He is excited to return to his hometown and work alongside his alma mater, Coachella Valley High School. He has 7 years of experience as director for the Upward Bound and Gear Up programs. He has worked for the UC, CSU, and the community college systems, which gives him an extensive understanding of all three public segments of higher education in California. Welcome. Next, we have Leslie Quinones, Director, Disabled Students Programs and Services. Leslie attended Cal State Northridge, where she earned a bachelor's degree in deaf studies. She went on to earn a master's of science in rehabilitation counseling, specializing in deafness from San Diego State. She joins us from the San Diego Community College District, where she was the Dean of DSPS and Student Affairs. She is pleased to join COD due to our stellar reputation as a cutting-edge leader in accessibility in DSPS. Next, I'd like to introduce Ellen Clifford, Accounting Technician, Fiscal Services.
Ellen's not able to attend.
Okay, we'll talk about her though. Thank you. Ellen comes to us from Colton Joint Unified School District. She has a master's in business administration with an emphasis in accounting. Her knowledge of public accounting goes back 5 years, where she started her career interning for the city of San Bernardino during their time of bankruptcy. What most people saw as a challenge, she saw as an opportunity to learn. She has taken this knowledge and will be applying it to her job as an accounting technician for the Fiscal Services Department. More specifically, she will be helping out in the area of accounts payable. All right, we want to welcome all of you, and we'd like to take a picture with you, if you don't mind. Okay, come on up.
Come on up. Come on over, student trustee. Yep, I'm trying to speak to you, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Your name is Wayne.
Name is- Oh, yeah, okay.
Ready? And cheese. And COD. And cheese one more time. Cheese. Thank you so much. Welcome.
We're happy to have you, and I'm never prejudiced, but it's always nice to have a Coachella Valley High School graduate. That is our public update and our introduction of new employees, so we're ready for reports. First report is for ASCOD. Oh, I believe we've seen you before. Thank you, Arturo.
Second research.
Is this like his fourth hat of the morning? Yes.
I know it's getting heavy. I'm just kidding. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, and vice presidents. So this month was a very short month for definitely ASCOD, and we have been doing a lot of recruitment. We've been trying to find ways to recruit students and see how we can involve students from incoming the pledge program and the edge program, see how they can get involved, whether it's through different avenues, and see how we could get them ready to if they would like to join ASCOD. And that's one of the biggest challenges that I think we're going to face, is trying to get as many students as aware of ASCOD's existence, and definitely get them to definitely care about, College of Desert. I think they do care. It's just that they're not aware of the different opportunities that College of Desert has to offer. And so that's one of the biggest subjects that we're talking about in ASCOD right now. The second biggest one is we're trying to have elections be one of the biggest events going on here, and we really want students to get involved. We want to see definitely competition, and we want to see students running for these positions. And that's one of my biggest goals, is to see more than 3,000 students vote, or a majority of students to vote. So I think that's one of our biggest goals, and we're just working on that, planning that out before we enter fall semester. And I think that's everybody in administration tries planning for the fall and spring semester, and so I think ASCOD is trying to do the same. And so we're trying to implement these ideas with the great mentorship that Carlos have provided the ASCOD team. And we just got through training yesterday, and right now we're just trying to figure out what's the best avenue to reach these students. So hopefully next month I'll have more news for the board, and we will be able to bring most of ASCOD to the next meeting. So hopefully we'll be able to introduce them here at the board meeting, and we'll see where we go from there. So thank you very much.
Very exciting. Thank you. Next report is CSEA, California School Employees Association.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Bonnie Russell. I have been part of the COD family since 1991. And for the past 16 years, I have worked with DSPS and working with our students with disabilities across the hall and the High-Tech Center. I'm the third vice president of the CSEA e-board, and I'm here to give you our report. The chapter is doing well. We went to conference the first week in August. A lot of positive vibes, energy, and reports of fiscal solvency. That's a mouthful for me. Our 9 and 10-month employees are starting to return back, and we are eagerly awaiting the start of the fall semester and the return of our students. CSA looks forward to continue to work with the district to improve the working environment for classified staff, and our first chapter meeting is scheduled for the end of September. But before that, we do have open enrollment for our health and welfare, which is going to be the last week of August. Our monthly meeting schedule has been finalized, and we are in the process of selecting volunteers for the college shared governance committees. And when we get those names, we will pass those on to HR when we get them. That concludes our report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. College of the Desert Adjunct Association, sitting on the front row.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My report will also be very brief. We had an uneventful summer for adjuncts, thankfully. And the only thing I want to tell you about is our usual presentation, flex presentations on Monday for adjuncts. As we have done in the past, we will be talking about how to write self-evaluations. We'll be talking about rights and responsibilities according to the collective bargaining agreement. And finally, we'll be talking about participating in shared governance. So if any of you would like to drop in to say hi, you're more than welcome to do that. The other thing I want to mention today is negotiations. We had a bit of a rough last year with negotiations due to a lot of reasons, some of which were unavoidable. But we did get through it. We were relatively successful, but we left a lot of unresolved issues on the table that we will be addressing very shortly. And although we are already behind schedule because we're into the second year of our agreement and we haven't started negotiations yet, they're right on the horizon. And I'm confident that we'll have a better year with negotiations this year. So I look forward to giving you positive reports month to month. And that's my report today. I hope everybody has a successful academic year.
Thank you so much. College of the Desert Faculty Association.
Good morning. Nice to see everyone. In July, I was happily hiking in the Canadian Rockies. I can tell you they're magnificent. Lake Louise, Banff, Jasper. Go there soon. On a personal note, I am grateful, it's an important word in my life, to report that there will be fundraising, music, art, and food events this weekend to support those who lost their homes in the Cranston fire, 5 people in Idlewild. So if you'd like to know more about it, check out #IdlewildStrong. My cabin that I've owned for 20 years did not suffer any damage, and my thank you sign hangs humbly once again on my front porch. And I'd like to thank the many people who checked in on me. The local paper, the Town Crier, has inspiring stories of the immediate and sustained support that people like the restaurateurs and their staff around the clock provided for the firemen and women and all their support staff, Caltrans, everyone.
There are literally hundreds of acts of unsolicited kindness, and the level of communication that was provided to the community was truly remarkable. Over the past 20 years, experiencing Idlewild, even part-time, has affirmed my core beliefs of community. And I hope and strive for the same in the community of College of the Desert. An atmosphere that is welcoming and friendly, a town hall gathering on matters of importance, open and transparent communication, and above all, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Thank you, Aretha. May you rest in peace. Members of the board recently received a copy of a very poignant request for help addressed to Joel. As a union president, I also received a copy, and I encourage the board and administration to utilize collaborative problem solving with CSEA and its unit members to address those important concerns. We are all members of this community, and respectful listening is an essential part of being in community. Interestingly enough, on today's board agenda, there includes an approval for a contract for professional personnel leasing, PPL. This is for professional services for enrollment management, professional development, and employee-employer relations for $150,000, not including administrative fees. As these areas include the 10+1 shared governance of the Academic Senate and employee relations as covered by our collective bargaining agreement, I look forward to being invited to participate. This board's agenda also includes the MOU for career pathways, which more specifically is dual enrollment. There are many very interesting details about curriculum and instructors, which I do not believe that the Academic Senate has seen, and the and the part of employee relations covered by the, and this is the first time that the Faculty Association has seen this MOU. The Faculty Association will hold its retreat for elected officers on Monday. We are waiting for the district to respond to bargaining dates so that the schedule can be completed for more than 5 people involved. Respecting the bargaining process shows respect to our mutual collective bargaining agreement, and we hope to hear from the district this week as the dates were given over a month ago. CODFA will be presenting at Flex in Indio on the history of unions and the rights and responsibilities of our contract. We look forward to meeting new faculty and a productive fall semester. We currently have no grievances, but we do have some pending issues with work experience. Like always, we look forward to a positive dialogue and prompt resolutions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Academic Senate.
Well, good morning, everyone. Again, as I've said before, it's truly an honor to have the opportunity to represent our incredible faculty as we look forward to another busy year at COD. There's many important initiatives and opportunities that lie ahead, and again, I will work to make sure our faculty participate and also get to participate. Let's look at it that way. This year really gets going this Saturday as the Senate exec team meets during the morning to discuss many of the important issues that are impacting faculty. And we're then joined by the President's Cabinet for the afternoon for a conversation where we can see what we plan on accomplishing, what we need to accomplish, and maybe just hope to accomplish. I don't know, all those things. We have many topics on the agenda. Some are the assessment, or just assessment in general, and the response to ACC-JC, guided pathways, implementation of AB 705, the review of programs on campus such as EDGE, progress of the task force on the syllabus template that is fully accessible, a very crucial issue, and the changeover of course to Course Leaf for our curriculum submissions. If time allows, each Senate chair will share their progress for the last year and what they hope to achieve during the upcoming academic year. We have just received notice that COD was one of only 5 community colleges across the United States that has been awarded a NASA grant to encourage community college students to consider careers in NASA. The funding is through the NASA Minority University Research Education Program, Innovations in Space Technology. Try to say all that fast. The grant will be led by our full-time astronomy faculty, Dr. Ahmed El-Shafi. This grant will support the development of curriculum to provide students with an introduction into NASA careers, specifically in the areas of entry, descent, and landing of spacecraft in various environments, Earth, planets, and comets, and such. Very complex activity, I guess. We will be the first community college in the country to introduce such a curriculum to its students. The funding will provide additional winter activities for a minimum of 10 of our students and 6 summer internships at Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. There were many obstacles encountered to get this proposal submitted, and I would like to take this opportunity to personally thank Dr. Kinnaman, because through his leadership, this wouldn't have been submitted without his support. It is my strong belief that Dr. El-Shafi is not an exception, but the norm, as we have many talented and innovative faculty here at College of the Desert that need to be supported and encouraged to bring their innovative ideas forward through grants and other opportunities. I hope you all will join me in congratulating Dr. El-Shafi on receiving this award and thank the faculty who helped him, especially Michael Garrity, who's no longer here, and Jorge Perez, and for the support of our Science Department Chair, Dr. Alexis Sawa. We, of course, have a full slate of Flex events this next week, but I want to just point out one special event. Again, as it says at the end, organized by Dr. Ahmed El-Shafi and Jorge Perez. As we've had many students completing research activities over this past summer and presenting their results at various venues, many of these students will be participating in our Student Research Symposium on Monday, August 20th during Flex at 3:30 p.m. This program starts with a short presentation describing some of the programs in MSTC 250, followed by a presentation of several of their posters describing the students' work in the Mesa Center, MSTC 146. There will be light refreshments served, so if you have a chance, please stop by to be totally amazed at our students' projects. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe that part of our enthusiasm with STEM comes from that generous donation of our telescope, and I'm so happy that the faculty has embraced these opportunities and found more adventures and chapters for future students. Auxiliary report today. We did the Academic Senate next week. Do we have a report from Auxiliary today?
Yes, that would also be the foundation report.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I'm John Mosser, the Executive Director of the College of the Desert Foundation. It's a pleasure to be with you, and we are very excited about the new academic year in creating new engagement opportunities for alumni and community members and raising funds to support the mission of the college. A few summer highlights. Mr. Bill Chenowitz has been selected as the new Foundation Board President for this academic year. Bill has served as Foundation Vice President. He's been head of our Audit Committee. He's served on the Stepping Out for COD Committee and has been a member of the Foundation Board Nominating Committee. I look forward to introducing him to all of you later this fall. The Foundation annual audit process has begun and is underway, and we look forward to bringing you the results of that annual review as soon as it's completed. The Foundation will be hosting the Desert Estate Planning Council on the evening of Tuesday, October 9th for a reception, dinner, and informational program about the college to educate estate planners and wealth managers from across the valley about the exciting programs and activities here at COD to hopefully encourage them to have their clients remember COD in their estate plans. The foundation is excited to be able to provide a little financial support for some extras for the wonderful faculty and staff dinner that will take place next Thursday as a part of the Flex program. We look forward to the new year ahead, to working with President Kinnaman and all of you in supporting the mission of the college. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Foundation is doing exciting things, and we appreciate their hard work helping us with the needs of the students. Governing Board, Student Trustee, would you like to begin our Governing Board reports?
Thank you. So, the past week, I participated in the Student Trustee Workshop in San Francisco. We had a chance to learn about the accreditation process as well as the functions of participatory governance, and we also got some insight on the current status of the funding formula. And so I look forward to see how we operate within these new parameters, and that will conclude my report.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Aurora?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My report is brief. I look forward to participating in Flex Week next week. I always enjoy and try to make as many events as I can. So thank you all for the hard work that you put into arranging that long week of events. I would like to announce the engagement of my daughter on a personal note to her longtime partner, Bianca Castro. They plan to be married next year.
Exciting.
And Madam Chair, I will be leaving early. I do have some personal business to take care of, so my apologies, but it's business that cannot wait. So thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to your daughter. I've known her many years, and it's very exciting. I'm glad she's happy. Mary Jane?
Hi. First of all, I want to welcome everyone back to the school year. I know a lot of our faculty did a lot of great things, so it's back to the grind, but the most beautiful thing is that we're helping the Coachella Valley students, and we're doing what we love, which is our students, and teaching them and motivating them to, for future endeavors. I'm looking forward, as always, to learn and attend some of the Flex workshops. You guys all do a fabulous job. I mean, you come out of those Flex trainings just re-engage and recharge, and looking forward to Joel's presidential message for the year, and I really enjoy it. I've taught for over 20 years at the community college, so a lot of going to these trainings are wonderful because you get re-engaged. It brings you back to why you started teaching and why you're at the community college. We're very lucky to have such great workshops, and I always wanted to go to that hike that we have one of our faculty members, so I look forward to attending a lot of the neat workshops and getting informed. I think it's always good to get informed about where you work. It re-engages you. This month was very busy. I attended a training. It was from NALEO, and it was on higher education policies. How to be working on issues and policies on what are community colleges doing throughout the country and the best practices. So I met with a lot of electeds, congressmen, higher ed professionals, and it was basically the decision-making process. How are we going to address issues on poverty in our communities? How are we going to address what goes on in our communities? And got trained on decision-making processes and policies. So the theme it was at UCLA, Public Policy Institute, and we got the best of the best, and I hope to bring that back to the college on what we learned and the best practices across the United States in higher education. So it was a wonderful, insightful 3-day workshop. The supervisor was also there, and some local mayors of Coachella Valley were also there. So it was great to have this collaboration and coalition building with different people in higher ed, people in the different avenues, and what could we do better in our community in higher education, because it takes a village. We all have to work together on that. Right now I have it on my phone, so bear with me because I just took all my notes down on my, okay. Attended something very dear to my heart, which is the National Night Out. It was wonderful because to meet with the police chiefs here in the Coachella Valley and coming so engaged from that conference. It was about safety in our community and prevention. So it was really neat that to meet with the local law enforcement and talk about just some local issues here and what we can do to expand. I'll be expanding a little bit more about that in our future agenda items, but it was something really neat to attend. Attended the Palm Desert Chamber of Commerce Mixer last week, as well as the Palm Springs Chamber Mixer, and the Thousand Palms Chamber of Commerce. So I want to really give a shout out to our local businesses because they hire our students while they're going to school. I don't know about you, but I worked 2 jobs while I was going to school. So local businesses do so much for our students. They hire, and just that is so important. While you're going to school, you know, you work at a local business. So we need to really support our local chambers of commerce because they're hiring our students. And it's a wonderful, and we have some wonderful projects coming up. I'm looking forward to this. There are more items that I went to, but right now, don't have it in front of me. My computer just died. So I'm looking forward to the academic year and look forward for your all dedication. And thank you very much. We have a new year coming up and looking forward to that. And most importantly, free bus. That is so important. Was our big program with the bus and giving them access to that. So that's something that I know that Chairman Broughton and I were on that transportation task force. Trustee Wilson, you worked on it when you were in CVAG, and now we did it. So we finally did it for all of the Coachella Valley, breaking those barriers. This ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Fred?
Thank you. I've always thought that the year really begins in August and September, not January. So I want to welcome and give everyone a greeting, Happy New Year. And I hope it's a good year for everyone, and I expect that it will be. I was able to visit San Bernardino Valley College recently, and I learned about a new $1 million grant they've received to launch something called the Advanced Manufacturing Futures Initiative. And it's a hands-on job training program, and it indicates a renewed emphasis on hands-on manufacturing and production jobs, particularly electrical, welding, machinery, and engineering. So I think that's a good program, and I was happy to learn about it and get good information about it. And finally, I simply want to acknowledge and recognize the dedication of the Richard Oliphant Elementary School in honor of Dick Oliphant, local developer. That I think that elementary school is on Gore Street, correct, in Indio? Yes? Okay. So just to acknowledge that dedication is coming up next month. Thank you.
I just want to welcome everybody back. As you know, I'm also an educator, and I've been back for a couple of weeks without pay, and I know many of you are in the same thing, where you were just so eager to get back to doing what you love best, that you've probably been coming in, volunteering your time, your money to buy supplies for your students or things that you need. And it isn't just the faculty. Also our classified, I know, are also doing things out of their pocket. I know my the custodian in my classroom. At the end of the year, I mentioned to him that I couldn't get something off of a wall that a kid had put up there. And I had told him all the little trick things that I have learned over 37 years of education that have failed. And during the summertime, he said, well, the district didn't have anything, but I found something. So I know that came out of his pocket. And I know that we all appreciate every little thing like that our fellow educators and our fellow paraeducators and our the employees for our district do. But I think sometimes we forget that a lot of times it's all heart. It comes out of their own pocket, their own time. They're not reimbursed for it. And it's something that I know when I talk to politicians, I'm always trying to re-educate them that, you know, I have students that come to school without breakfast. I have a big drawer at school where I have little things for breakfast that I can give them to eat because they're hungry. I know I've seen my custodian share a granola bar with someone. I know my custodian doesn't have a lot of money at home either, but at the same time, he's willing to give even something that is of value to him. And I want to thank each and every employee that we have at the College of the Desert, because I know you're all doing the same thing that I'm doing and the same thing that many educators and paraeducators and classified employees are doing around the United States. And so it's a great big thank you. Also, I've been talking as I've been back to many of the principals in the Desert Sands District. I've seen them down at the stores when I'm purchasing stuff for my classroom. And I've seen them on my campus talking to my administrator, and I've talked to my own administrator, and they all say the same thing. Thank you, College of the Desert. Thank the people at College of the Desert for taking the time over the summer to work with them so that they could set up programs so that the students could have a seamless transition when they go from one level of education to the next level of education here at College of the Desert. And I know that we've had an increased enrollment this last year, and a lot of that is because of the hard work that College of the Desert has put in, going out there and reaching out to the K-12 districts throughout our communities, not just my district. But there is a great big thank you, and they wanted you all aware that they are thanking you as well. So welcome back. Thank you. I'm looking forward to Flex Days. I wish that I could attend all day, every day, because they all look so interesting. But next week I start back as well with my educational stuff. So I'll be there in the afternoon, and I hope to see what our students have produced over the summer, because I love watching those reports in the Mesa department. And congratulations to the program awards that we have won with the NASA, the special program. I received word on that one night on my a text message on my phone, and I was just thrilled. That was called for celebration. It came right around my birthday. I got a lot of little, you know how you get text messages and you go, oh, thanks. Well, that was one that I could celebrate. So I really wanted to congratulate our students and congratulate and thank and welcome back every employee for College of the Desert. So thank you and welcome back.
Thank you, Bonnie. You have to agree that even Rod Stewart knew that this school year starts, the real year starts in August or September. Our brains are geared that way, just as they're geared to plant a garden in the spring, although it's the wrong time to plant a garden in the desert. But that life has for so many years revolved that way that we always look forward to the fall and the beginning of our year. This is the time of the year that my telephone rings and people hunt me down in the stores, as Bonnie says, because they have a question, they have a problem. Who do they call? This has come up. I've had many people contact me this year, but they've actually had fewer problems, and I believe it's the EDGE program. And they'll say, oh, I'll go, well, how's it going? Oh, we're ready for school. You know, they're ready for school. They know what they're going to take. They know what their path is. They feel confident. and they feel like there's a support system. That is what our EDGE program's about, is to help fill in those gaps, to help support not just the student, but the student support group, their family, their friends. So thank you for all the hard work that's done with EDGE, and thank you for Pledge, because it enabled students to come to college that would have not had that opportunity, or that simply didn't know they had that opportunity. But now they do, and now they'll know they can do college work, and that there's a bright future. So it's always exciting to open doors so that others can pass through. I remind everyone that the board is learning a new program. It's Board Docs, and so if we sit here and kind of stare at these computers and try to figure out where we are, we're much better this month than we were last month, but it still may take a few interactions before we're really fluent in Board Docs. We're getting there. It's a wonderful program. I believe it's easier for information to be put into our agendas, and it's certainly easier to find the information as we go through the agendas. Thank you for all of you, Julia that set it up, and all of our support team. I appreciate that. Many exciting things are buried in our consent agenda today. This distance education update is very exciting. It's wonderful to see how much we've grown, and it was good to see for it to be referenced back to that report being our responsibility for seeing how our master education plan is progressing. I love that. I would love to have even more dashboard indicators so that at a glance we can look at this, but the graphs made it very easy to read. The curriculum that's been added to or subtracted from our catalog, our curriculum, our catalog addendum, is also very exciting. I can see that our college is progressing. It's being responsive to future needs. We're educating students for a world that educators have always felt this way, that we're educating students for a world that we know nothing about. We don't know what it'll be. But I believe we're being responsible in giving them those skills and teaching them the logic and the ability to think and to make good decisions. The hybrid fuel cell, do I have mine? The hybrid fuel cell is electric vehicle certificate's wonderful. The business information is wonderful. But of course, and kinesiology, I'm glad to see that. But of course, my favorite is the agricultural pest management certificate. I bring that up, you all laugh because, you know, I come from an agricultural community. But I have to tell you that is one of the areas where those food safety people are aging out. They're retiring. So we need a new group of people that are excited, that are current with information, and that want to make our food production, especially obviously from Coachella Valley, the safest, best food that can be offered to our world. So I thank you for that. I'm happy to see that we're stepping into that need. Dual enrollment. Thank you for the dual enrollment report. I would like to see that dual enrollment being spread more throughout the valley. I always speak for my end, although all the students in this district are in my heart. But for some of our students, having that opportunity to be in a dual enrollment class is their first opportunity to know, their first chance to know that they can do it. They can be a college student. They can be a successful college student. So I appreciate that encouragement, and I ask, please keep reaching out to all the schools in all the areas. The bus line, that is I just can't stop celebrating that because we've worked so many years, but it too took a village. It took a community. I look for Aurora, who worked on the CVAG grant and pushed it. I look around this room. I know how many of us attended Sunline meetings. I thank our local officials that stood up for us and said, Yes, because long ago and far away in the land of Id, Sunline told us that college students wouldn't ride the bus. Ah, so wrong. And I'm so happy that we're so right. And that now students that had no transportation have a pass that will take them to school, to work, to pick up their kids or take their kids to childcare, and to go grocery shopping. Sunline didn't want that to begin with. They said, well, how do you know they'll just use that pass to go to classes? And we're going, oh, they won't. They need to go to work, and they need to take care of their kids, and they need groceries. Imagine that. So I'm so happy that we've reached this point. Thank you to all of you that worked on it. It's taken hours and hours. As Bonnie says, she's going back to school. This is my date harvest season. This is the time of the year that I work a lot of hours in the sun, but it is what we all look forward to. So I did bring a few dates. A short lesson on Barhi dates is they're yellow, and yes, they're ready to eat. Dates are kind of like grapes. You eat a table grape, and you have this big, nice, crisp taste, and then you have a raisin, which is a sweet taste, an intensive sweet taste. Barhis are sort of the table grapes or the table dates of the world. There's still a big seed in them. When you bite into them, if you think date, you're going to go, that's not sweet. No, it's more like an apple or a pear. So feel free to take a string home to try them. Some people like to put them in the freezer, let them freeze. If at night after dinner, if you want something sweet but healthy, take one out, check and eat it, and it's a nice, sweet, healthy taste. Other people cut them up and put them in salad. So I carried in a 30-pound box, so you should be able to have what you need. Again, I look forward to our school year, and I thank all the members of our college district, because this is a community college, but it is a college community. And we all work together, and we'll have more students and more successes. So thank you so much. Joel?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you. And being an ag major, I like the way that you talked up the price of dates today. I think the main thing that I would like to mention and express my appreciation is to Donna Green and the Faculty Development Committee. It's a lot of work to put together this flex week and this flex schedule and coordinate. And I know that she spent weeks and weeks and weeks working on that. And we're looking forward to experiencing all that work next week when we reconvene. It's going to be very nice. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much. So this is our second public comment opportunity. Comments from the public. Persons who wish to speak to the board on any item should complete the request to address the board form and present it to the secretary. Persons who wish to speak to the board on any item may do so at this time. There's a time limit of 3 minutes per person and 15 minutes per topic, unless further time is granted by the board. This time limit will be doubled for members of the public utilizing a translator, so that to ensure that non-English speakers receives the same opportunity to directly address the board, unless there's simultaneous translation equipment's used. Do we have such a request?
We do.
Okay, thank you.
We have two.
Okay. The first item I have is Wally Melendez.
Good afternoon, COD Board of Directors. I'm happy to be here to take advantage of my 3 minutes of public speaking here. And I'm a student here. And I want to talk about the dangerous world that we live in. I was born and raised and finished high school in Brownsville, Texas in 1963. And I'm an honorably discharged veteran of the U.S. Army. And I speak Spanish very well. I could be speaking to you in Spanish right now if I wanted to, or if you could understand me. And I've had a lot of friends from south of the border, Mexico, Central America, South America. I always get along with them. And what I want to point out in the few seconds that I have is that right now we're having a real domino effect in Latin America. Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Bolivia, the criminal assassins, communists, starting with their main backer, a Russo, Putin, who gives them money and training and so on. Castro, Chavez, Maduro, Ortega, Morales, criminals, communists, assassins. Nicaragua, university, college students, like shooting ducks in a pond. Awful. Trump, our leader, I like him. I like Trump. He's a tough guy. I like him. I'll follow him in battle. But he's stupid. He don't understand that we live in the new world, that we live in the Western Hemisphere. He's ignoring our primos, our cousins, our neighbors south of the border. I just have 10 seconds to go. But I want to ship my people down south, Latinos. I want to ship them pistolas.
Thank you for your comments. I don't believe I've ever had this one before. The next person that wishes to speak is Joel L. Kinnaman.
Yes, I'll go over there.
I'll get to do this often.
My apologies, but I forgot during my report to hand these out, courtesy of our Public Information Office. You'll see one of these in my car out front.
Oh, great.
And so
Okay.
I wanted to give the board one today, and then all faculty and staff will
Great
be getting
picture.
them. And foundation folks and others.
Beautiful. What a great way. Beautiful. Yes, they are.
I'm glad that all
There's
that.
a lot of them. That's my 3 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, then can we take a picture? Now, Joel, we're in a team together. Can we all take it holding the College of the Desert with the board and you?
You obviously weren't as frightened as I was with what he was going to do. Thank you. That's what, oh, yes.
This one.
That's great. That's great. Isn't that really great idea?
How's that short? Aurora, are you, don't put it in front of your face. There we go. It's okay to take that.
Thank you.
Joel, I'm excited that we found another way to promote COD, but I have to admit I was slightly frightened there for a minute when you wished to be the public to speak, so public comment. I was afraid we were going to be entertaining a resignation or some other surprise that I wasn't prepared for it anyway. That's good. That's good. We'll get lessons on it. We can come to Flex. They'll teach us to fold it back up. Consent agenda. All consent items will be voted on in one motion. Any board member can request that an item be removed. I'm trying to move this on. I'm pretty sure we can, but we may need a flex class in flexing, yes. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any items? This is discussion. Any discussion?
Just a brief discussion on 1501.
Do you wish to pull it?
Yes.
1501 to be pulled. Anything else? So, let me see, make sure I say this right. So the motion is to approve the consent agenda with 1501 removed. Is that, I'm looking, see, that's motion and the second? All in favor, say aye. 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 Student trustee, I apologize, student trustee, your vote?
Aye.
Aye, and the rest of us, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? I hear that as unanimous vote. Soon we're going to move up into the world and actually vote on these, on our board docs, but we're not that far along yet. Action items. The one item that's been pulled from the agenda gets considered first. Item 1501, do I have a motion?
So move.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Fred, would you like to speak to this?
I'm just asking that in the future that we get a little bit more information and in a little different fashion than in this report. And particularly what I'm asking for is if we could get those numbers as a percentage of the whole. In other words, what percentage of all courses are distance learning, not just the gross number. And the second request is that we get a definition as to what is included in terms of hybrid courses. The 50% hybrid, only 60% hybrid, exactly what is meant in terms of hybrid courses by distance learning. No need to resubmit the data. I'm just asking in future years it be more refined so it'd be more useful.
And that was my thought with the more dashboard information. So we can quickly look at it and go, oh, this is 10%, this is 50% of our classes, and of course, we're all going to be interested in success rates as time goes on, and they are reflected in our reports. But now that we've seen this beginning of reporting from our master ed plan, then it's going to be even more interesting.
Yeah, and it's present for us. It's not that useful to us. We need a more detailed breakdown. That's all.
Any other discussion? Okay, there being no other discussion, there are motions on the table to approve 1501. Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? I hear that as unanimous vote. Okay. The next item is the Board of Trustees board meeting dates, the second reading. I'm looking to be sure. I think I missed something. No, I haven't. Okay, I'm sorry. I was afraid I'd missed something. The next item is the trustee board meeting dates. It's our second reading. We had them presented last month, had an opportunity to review them to be sure that they were appropriate, and now they've come back for our second reading and a vote. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Just noting that some of them were changed to allow for conferences and possible scheduling with other meetings that were on the agenda for different various board members. So there should be no major changes. However, it's possible that some locations may vary.
I'm just concerned, I just would love to always make sure that our board meetings are in all the areas of the Coachella Valley. I just really, it would be nice to go. It was,
Exactly.
and I got a lot of great feedback when we were out in Palm Springs. It would be
Yes.
nice, maybe Desert Hot Springs, or even the eastern part
Yep.
and mid areas. I
Our,
think that's, yeah.
Our last off-campus meeting was in Palm Springs, so
Right.
probably the next one is more appropriately in the East Valley.
Right.
And then to go back to the West Valley, so.
I'd like to see more of that
those.
going to, out to the communities that we serve, and even in further, you know, would be wonderful. Thank you.
Were any dates changed from the first list?
Yes, there were some that were changed.
So which were changed?
Which
I
is-
want to say the one in June was changed.
Which is why I got a hard copy handed out.
I think there was one in March or April that was changed, was it?
That's gonna be hard.
Oh, October, November, okay.
June, October, and November?
Yes, and you'll notice that some of them are also earlier in the week, they're not all on Fridays, and those will probably be ones that we may look at nighttime in various areas, or at least in other areas, because we have to set up in other areas. To what? A Wednesday in April. I thought there was one earlier. Okay. So there's several possibilities there.
I don't see that November was changed, so am I
November.
mistaken in that?
Was corrected, I think it, yeah,
Oh, the date was wrong, but the day of the week is correct.
yeah.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Just to clarify, Madam Chair, so Julia, you've calendared all this on our calendars, right? Or will it be? Okay.
It's a big help. Any other discussion? Then, student trustee, your vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I hear that it's unanimous vote. Next item is Resolution 081718-1 to establish a checking account for the operation of the Roadrunner Cafe at College of the Desert Indio campus. Could we have a little information on that, because it's so exciting?
I'll make the motion so that we can have a discussion.
I have a
Thank you.
second.
Second.
So I want you to bring your enthusiasm to this, okay? Vice President Vermont.
Breakthrough.
Thank you, Dr. Kinnaman, Madam Chair. This item is, as you know, we operate the kiosk on campus here. We're opening a beautiful new kiosk in the Indio building, and we can't wait to show that off. And what the staff has requested a separate account for that, so that they can treat it as their own separate business for those students that will be operating that kiosk. And we can't open that without your permission.
Isn't that exciting? We're going to have a second major kiosk and a second opportunity for students to be in business.
Please go
And
see it. It is a beautiful facility.
Best part is
Yeah.
their business is serving other students.
And run by students.
They're run by students, managed by students. It is exciting.
The city of Indio are really looking forward to this. This is a really great milestone for the city of Indio. This is wonderful for the college. Wonderful.
Any other discussion on this? Other than, yes, we can, okay. Hearing none, student trustee vote?
Aye.
Oh, roll call.
Madam Chair, it's a vote.
Oh, it's roll call. It's a resolution, yes. And we get to vote. All we have to do is figure out how.
Student trustee Vermont,
Aye.
trustee Wilson.
We're gonna,
It's on the computer.
we're gonna try to vote on the computer.
Oh, I
Hang
don't
on a
know.
minute. This is a learning experience.
Trying to get there.
Oh,
We're just slow.
are we okay with this?
Not yet, but we will be.
Okay.
As long as we see it on the board, we're good.
Okay.
There it is, motion, we just click
How did you get to that?
Would you like to
I'm
go
in the
back
wrong
I
place.
know you run a tight ship, so.
Oh, here. Oh, that's where I'm wrong.
I serve at the
Okay,
pleasure
right.
of
Thank you.
Ms.
Got
Breyer.
it.
How did you get to that? That
Oh,
one?
it comes right up on your screen.
If
You
get
just go to this item,
Yeah. it was
and
there.
then it gives you the opportunity to vote.
Oh, well, he pulled it.
Hmm?
He pulled it up when he got here.
Okay.
So I guess it was this one.
Nope.
And you have,
I already voted.
after he logged in.
Did you vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was trying to figure out how.
Oh, okay. I don't think it'll come up again. I think that keeps you from accidentally voting twice.
Yeah.
Are we getting there? Oh, you can see though, can't you, Julia?
I hope we are.
Interesting, I do see that we have a tab to change our vote. Change our vote.
You do?
Yes.
Where
can.
is that?
Upper right. Upper right. Red tab.
Oh, it does. It says change vote. Okay.
Oh, I see.
See, I told you we were going to be very entertaining as we learn to use this.
I hadn't seen that before.
Because we're looking on both sides, trying to figure out which one's right.
Correct.
I guess it's good we didn't have a lot of action items.
Yes.
Oh, it's very good. This is why Julia said that we could only vote on resolutions. That's what. Did we make it? Did we all vote?
You know, that would be nice if it showed us that, huh?
Oh, it will. I think it will later.
Julia, do we see the vote?
We're just not there yet, I think. This is very amusing, but,
But,
yes.
but, the big but.
Mhm.
That's how they do it.
It appears they've been collusion.
Yes. Are we there? No, not quite. Note to all that are watching this, we would have finished this much
Student
faster.
trustee Vermont,
Aye.
trustee Wilson,
Aye.
trustee Sanchez Fulton, trustee Yant,
Aye.
trustee Stefan,
Aye.
trustee Broughton.
Aye.
It carries unanimously.
Thank you. And our recorded votes are in there somewhere, so. The next item is information, student learning. There's information concerning Desert Sands Unified School District and Palm Springs Unified School District. It's an information item, so there's no action to take on it, but perhaps there's something to share.
Yes, and we will continue to work with all school districts this year. I know we have a K-12 consortium meeting coming up, I think within like a couple of weeks, and that'll give us an opportunity to have some dialogue around this. Mr. Baker, would you like to speak to this? Yeah.
Well, you remember concurrent enrollment, it's something that's evolved over the years. You know, when it was originally designed, it was designed to help high school students get ahead. And it's really evolved, and I think the statement really sums it up. These what you see in front of you, these are CCAP agreements, and they stand for College and Career Access Pathways, Partnership Agreements. That's under AB 288. And let me just share this. These agreements are for students who may not already be college-bound or who are underrepresented in higher education, with the goal of developing seamless pathways from high school to community college for career technical education or preparation for transfer, and so forth. So it's really for the underrepresented students, and that's kind of a path that's important that we keep working on.
Yes. So, I know that Coachella Valley Unified School District had some turnover in superintendents, but if there ever were a group of students that needed dual enrollment, that needed people to reach out to them, that needed the college, it's that set of students.
So what I will do is I'll pull some data. We've been working with those high schools, and we should be able to pull some data on the students that are actually utilizing those agreements and taking classes in other ways for that. But we do have the door open with the districts out there, and we'll be working on it this year.
And they are very active with AP classes, so
Yes.
it's not that their mind is closed to pointing their students and helping them down the path to college.
Yes.
I just feel that we're missing out on opportunities to encourage more students. And many of those students don't have a support group at home that know how to help them. It's not that they don't want to help them, they just don't always know how, and we're the answer.
Absolutely. And particularly in the area of career technical education. That's another area that we can really help to drive and support out in that community.
So I look forward to hearing more, and I'm happy we have that K-12 that we work with, and that I'm hoping that we'll push that so that there's a better understanding that going to school for 2 years here is an opportunity to go off to school for the next 2 years, and that statistics show that our students are more successful than native students.
Absolutely.
So I think we're not always offering those students a chance. And yes, some of them, what they're interested is technical education, and we can offer that. But we're fortunate because we offer technical education with a chance in many cases to move on to more advanced technical education. So I'm hoping that we hear more about that in the future.
You will.
I'm also encouraged that we have an upward bound person that was a new hire today that will be working with Coachella Valley Unified, because we need to keep those channels open, and I think the upward bound program is an excellent way to get that communication going, at least at some level, and hopefully that will help too.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other discussion on our information items? We're up to future agenda items. Student trustee, do you have any future agenda items that you'd like to add to this today?
No, Madam Chair.
Aurora, do you have any? Okay. Mary Jane?
Yes, I do. I'd like to get an update. Are we going to be having our monthly food pantry? Is that going to happen in is it in our school year in September as usual I just want to get we'll have that? Is that?
So what you'd like is an update on these additional student support programs that we've been offering, like the food.
No, the one specifically.
Only about the food pantry,
I'd
not
like to
about the
know
others.
Also, the wraparound services that we planned, I bring it every board meeting on this. Just an update of the food pantry, what the wraparound services that I know, Dr. Neary, you're working on. That's something that I'd like to hear.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
And we could provide the board with a written report if you would like
That's
it
an
prior to
information
the.
item, that would be good.
Okay.
Okay, an informational item.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I also would like to get an update of our Alumni Association, just to see what's going on in our our weekend, just as we're coming to a close, what's going on that. I think it'd be wonderful to get an update on that. Thank you so much. That's
Right.
all.
And with that, we could have, as we know how that's coming, then we can see how those funds are going toward scholarships and student support, because I know that's where all those funds are going. Also, they do some wonderful campus things. It's always fun to hear about that, because the atmosphere that students are greeted with on campus, it means a lot.
And actually, there's one that I mentioned when I met with the police. The district attorney's office does something Men Can Read. I'd like to kind of work on some programs with a lot of the gang intervention or prevention in our correctional systems, something that other community colleges, having gone to a workshop on that, I'd like to get an update or see what some best practices on that a lot of our, across the nation, or a lot of the community colleges are addressing some of these issues. Thank you.
Our local youth program, I believe, is called Real Men Read.
Real Men Read.
Right, Real Men Read, and they're always looking for books that can be discussed as a group. So it's an interesting group. Fred, any future agenda items?
Not at this time.
Bonnie, any future agenda items?
Yeah, a couple. First one, I'd like an update as our summer winds down and we start our fall semester, maybe not in September, maybe in October, of how the EDGE program panned out, with how many are actually in attendance now from the different high schools throughout the valley, like we had earlier in the summer. That was kind of like very early on, and I know that we still had some EDGE programs going on. And congratulations to the EDGE program. Each of us had in front of us a congratulations on our Veterans Caucus, becoming a member of the California Community College Veterans Caucus, and asking them that to submit articles to the newsletter for the California Community College thing, and newsletter for their caucus. And hopefully we will get something submitted for that. I'd like to see something about our college's Veterans Caucus, or Veterans Service Group.
We have a great service group, so
Yeah,
it'd be good to spread the
so
word.
it'd be nice to have something in their newsletter, you know, highlighting our group. Also, the trustees know that I'm really pushing the Excellence in Trusteeship program. And I know several people have done things online. Please keep submitting those to Julia, and I'll get a spreadsheet going this next month. Now that I'm back to school and I got all my good spreadsheets going there, so that we can get that updated and hopefully get everybody that certificate into that program, certified with that. Certificated, I guess, would be better rather than committed, huh?
Sometimes
I gotta
it's
watch how
committed.
I say things sometimes. I'm sorry. Not really good on that. And I want to thank our bond measures, our bond project members that serve on that committee, because they always give us a wonderful report, and I can keep abreast of what's going on with that. So just a couple of things there, and looking forward to next month.
If I could ask, back to that EDGE report, I'm interested as well as in zip codes, if that information is available to us and can be given to us. Because I come from a district where a number of our students actually end up at Shadow Hills. And I don't know, those are the ones that I hear. I don't know where else. So it'd be interesting to know, because those, if they have a zip code, and they may be registered in a zip code where they don't really live, so this may not help, but perhaps it will. I'm sorry, Aurora.
I do have two items I'd like to submit. One would be a construction project update, see where we are on our different campuses. And the other would be an update on our foundation. We do have a not-so-new executive director, but we also have new staff, and we have a new board chair. So I'd like to get an update and present it to the board as to the status of the foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. You're a good representative to the foundation. So that gets our future agenda items. I believe this is an appropriate time for us to go to our second closed session. But it also ends the business of the day. When we finish with closed session, we will come and report out. And I'm looking for a time because I'm not sure that it will be as prompt as it may be. What is our time that we have published that we will report out? 1:30? Okay, so we will report out at 1:30.
Or shortly thereafter.
Or shortly thereafter, yes. Okay, so we are adjourning to closed session. There was reportable action taken in closed session. A Director of Alumni Engagement. In closed session, a motion was made by Trustee Mary Jane Sanchez Fulton, seconded by Trustee Fred Yount, to authorize President Kinnaman to extend an offer of employment to Jennifer Mezquinta as Director of Alumni Engagement. The motion carried with 5 members voting in favor and no members voting no. Excuse me. The motion carried 5-0. There being no other business coming before the board, we are adjourned at 1:53. Thank you.